Welcome to a journey through the timeless teachings of ancient wisdom. In this video, we explore what the ancient schools of mystery expected from their students, as articulated by Manly P. Hall. These teachings have guided seekers for centuries, offering a path not just to knowledge but to personal transformation. We'll uncover the essential qualities, disciplines, and attitudes that true students of wisdom were required to cultivate. As we move forward, keep in mind that this is not just a historical exploration, but a practical guide for anyone seeking deeper understanding and purpose in life. The original intent behind these ancient teachings was to protect sincere seekers from the confusion of conflicting beliefs and superficial metaphysics. In a world where spiritual knowledge is often commercialized or diluted, the ancient mystery schools insisted that enlightenment must be earned through personal dedication and a strict code of conduct. This was not about quick fixes or easy lessons, but about a deep, transformative journey. As we delve deeper, remember that the path to wisdom is paved with sincerity and commitment. In the ancient system, the seeker of truth was required to undergo a second birth, a complete regeneration of character and behavior. Only those who achieved this rebirth were considered twice-born and capable of understanding the mysteries of the heavens. This transformation could not be achieved simply by joining a sect or following rituals. It demanded a profound inner change, earned through discipline and self-mastery. The journey was personal, challenging, and ultimately rewarding for those who persevered. Not everyone who claims secret knowledge or membership in mystical orders is a true adept. The ancient wisdom warns against deception and encourages seekers to use discrimination to avoid being misled. True teachers are recognized by their actions and the integrity of their lives, not by grand claims or mysterious airs. By focusing on the principles of genuine philosophy and freeing the mind from glamour, seekers can avoid falling prey to false teachings. One of the greatest threats to spiritual integrity is the commercialization of wisdom. Ancient teachings emphasize that true spiritual growth cannot be bought or sold. The exploitation of spiritual needs for personal gain undermines the very foundation of genuine religion and philosophy. Seekers are reminded to approach the path with honesty and to be wary of those who promise quick results or material rewards in exchange for spiritual secrets. People are drawn to spiritual paths for many reasons. Some seek escape from their own shortcomings, others desire power or influence, and a few genuinely long for wisdom. The ancient schools cautioned that only those with pure intentions, those willing to serve and transform themselves, would truly benefit. Selfish motives or the desire for shortcuts lead only to disappointment and confusion. In recent times, there has been a surge of interest in psychic phenomena and extrasensory perception. While some genuinely seek to explore the latent powers of the mind and soul, many become overly dependent on psychics and external advice. The ancient wisdom reminds us that true strength comes from developing our own minds and making personal decisions, rather than relying on others for guidance. Few modern religious movements inspire their followers to serve others in practical and intelligent ways. The ancient wisdom teaches that genuine spiritual progress is measured by our willingness to serve humanity selflessly. It is not enough to seek personal enlightenment, one must also contribute to the well-being of others. Service is the true test of spiritual maturity. Modern society is often driven by materialism and the pursuit of personal gain. The ancient schools warned that such attitudes undermine both individual character and collective well-being. True wisdom is not about acquiring wealth or power, but about building character and living in harmony with higher principles. The focus must always be on inner growth, not outward success. A fundamental principle of ancient wisdom is the necessity of cleansing one's life before seeking higher knowledge. Selfishness must be removed from the soul, as no true wisdom can be gained while self-interest dominates. Modern psychological movements often overlook this, focusing instead on endless desires. The ancient path demands self-purification as the first step toward enlightenment. Throughout history, true followers of wisdom have been willing to sacrifice everything for truth. From apostles to martyrs, their sincerity, humility, and devotion set them apart. The ancient path is not about seeking worldly rewards, but about dedicating oneself to a higher purpose. Only those who are willing to give up personal desires for the sake of wisdom are truly prepared for the journey. The true seeker desires nothing more than wisdom itself. As illustrated by the story of Solomon, who asked only for wisdom and was granted all else, the ancient teachings emphasize that wisdom is the highest gift. When wisdom is sought sincerely, all other blessings follow naturally. This principle remains as relevant today as it was in ancient times. Ancient initiates struggled against ignorance and superstition, striving to elevate humanity's understanding. Today, many are distracted by promises of quick results and material gain. The ancient wisdom challenges us to reject shallow philosophies and instead pursue a path of genuine growth and self-mastery. The contrast between past and present serves as a reminder of the enduring value of true wisdom. There are no shortcuts on the path to wisdom. Ancient schools required years of purification and preparation before students could be taught even the simplest truths. Modern seekers are often impatient, expecting quick results without effort. The lesson is clear: only through persistent work and discipline can true understanding be achieved. A key rule of ancient wisdom is humility before the absolute. True initiates do not claim to know the ultimate mysteries of existence. Even great teachers like Buddha and Socrates refrained from discussing the absolute, recognizing its ineffability. This humility is a mark of genuine wisdom, reminding us to respect the limits of human understanding. True esoteric practices are carefully guarded and passed down only to prepared students. The misuse or premature teaching of these practices can be dangerous, both physically and spiritually. The ancient schools insisted on secrecy and proper preparation to ensure that students were ready for the responsibilities and risks involved. This caution remains vital for anyone exploring deeper spiritual disciplines. Masters of wisdom are always ready to share their knowledge with sincere and prepared students. However, the responsibility lies with the student to cultivate the necessary qualities: honesty, humility, openness, and dedication. Only when the student is truly ready will the right teachings and opportunities appear. This principle emphasizes personal responsibility on the path. Modern psychology sometimes teaches how to influence or manipulate others, but the ancient wisdom warns that such practices can backfire. If you seek to control others, you may find yourself controlled in return. True wisdom is about self-mastery, not domination over others. The path requires vigilance and ethical conduct at all times. Many seekers fall into the trap of illusions, becoming disconnected from reality and unable to solve their own problems. The ancient wisdom encourages practical engagement with life and warns against escapism. True spiritual growth is grounded in reason, service, and constructive action, not in waiting passively for miracles. Ancient wisdom is both spiritual and reasonable. It seeks to solve real-world problems by developing better men and women, grounded in the law of cause and effect. There are no shortcuts or patented formulas, only the steady building of character and understanding. This approach stands in contrast to many modern movements that promise quick fixes. From the earliest times, humans have sensed a higher power and sought to express gratitude for existence. Religion evolved as a response to this instinct, growing more complex as human understanding developed. The ancient wisdom recognizes all religions as branches of a single tree, each contributing to the understanding of one ultimate truth. Ancient teachings divide humanity into four general classes: those focused on physical needs, those engaged in trade and craft, scientists who seek knowledge through observation, and philosophers and artists who dwell in the world of ideals. Each class has its own approach to life and spirituality, but all are ultimately seeking meaning and purpose. The instinct to revere the unknown is present in all human beings and even in some animals. This universal drive has shaped the development of religion and spirituality throughout history. The ancient wisdom teaches that this instinct, when properly guided, leads to the highest forms of devotion and service. As human understanding evolved, so did religious beliefs and practices. From simple beginnings, religions became more complex, reflecting the growing capacity of the human mind. Despite their differences, all religions aim to answer the fundamental question: what is the purpose of existence? The ancient wisdom sees all as expressions of one truth. Ancient wisdom is likened to a great tree, with many branches representing different religions and philosophies. Each branch is unique, but all are nourished by the same roots. The life of the tree is the spirit of wisdom, which animates and unites all genuine spiritual traditions. This metaphor reminds us of the interconnectedness of all paths. Mystery schools were established by enlightened beings to preserve and transmit the knowledge of nature's laws. These schools served as spiritual universities, guiding students through stages of growth and initiation. Their teachings were adapted to the needs and capacities of different peoples, but the core principles remained universal. Over time, some mystery schools declined as unprepared individuals gained access to their teachings. The loss of spiritual contact led to the rise of empty rituals and symbols. However, the core wisdom was preserved by a dedicated few, ensuring its survival through generations of ignorance and materialism. According to legend, the wisdom of Atlantis was passed down to later civilizations through mystery schools. The serpent kings who ruled Atlantis established the foundations of Egyptian, Brahmanic, and other ancient mysteries. Their symbol, the serpent, represented the creative energy flowing through nature and humanity. Mystery schools maintained the ability to communicate with higher spiritual beings. This communication was the source of their power and insight. Students were taught to develop their own subtle bodies, enabling them to access higher realms and receive direct guidance from the spiritual hierarchy. There are said to be 7 great mystery schools, each representing a different aspect of spiritual development. These schools are hidden and can only be found through persistent seeking and preparation. Each serves as a channel for the transmission of wisdom, guiding students along the path best suited to their nature. Students in the mystery schools were divided into 3 main grades: students, disciples, and initiates. Each grade represented a stage of spiritual maturity and responsibility. Advancement was based on personal merit, sincerity, and dedication, not on external status or recognition. The first grade, the student, is open to anyone who sincerely seeks wisdom and dedicates themselves to service. Students are expected to work on self-improvement, cultivate virtues, and prepare for greater responsibilities. The journey begins with humility, patience, and a willingness to learn from every experience. Ancient teachers provided practical rules for students, emphasizing honesty, charity, forgiveness, and moderation. These rules are as relevant today as ever, guiding students to become valuable members of their communities and worthy recipients of higher wisdom. The foundation of progress is always ethical living. Students are encouraged to develop their talents and use them for the benefit of others. Creativity, intelligence, and service are all valued but must be pursued selflessly. The goal is to become a positive force in the world, contributing to the greater good rather than seeking personal gain. The path of the student is often marked by trials and suffering, which serve as opportunities for growth and purification. Patience, obedience, and resilience are essential qualities. Every difficulty is a lesson, and only by enduring and learning from these challenges can the student progress to higher stages. The second grade, the disciple, involves a closer relationship with a teacher or master. Disciples are chosen for their sincerity and readiness and receive individualized instruction. The focus shifts from general study to personal transformation, guided by the wisdom and experience of the master. Disciples are expected to practice unconditional obedience to their teacher, trusting in their guidance and wisdom. At the same time, each disciple's path is unique, tailored to their individual strengths and weaknesses. The master helps the disciple develop their spiritual faculties in preparation for initiation. The third grade, initiation, is reserved for those who have proven themselves through discipline and self-mastery. Initiation involves direct experience of spiritual realities, often occurring in the subtle realms rather than the physical world. The initiate gains new powers and responsibilities, but remains subject to the laws of nature and the need for further growth. At the threshold between the visible and invisible worlds, the initiate must confront their own lower nature, symbolized by the dweller on the threshold. Mastery over personal weaknesses is essential before higher powers can be safely accessed. This test ensures that only those who are truly prepared can proceed. Initiates are expected to live by the highest ethical standards, respecting the laws of their society and serving as examples of integrity and humility. They do not seek recognition or use their powers for personal gain. True initiates work quietly, allowing their actions to speak for themselves. A key principle for initiates is secrecy. They do not reveal their status or spiritual experiences to others except in rare cases where it is appropriate. This humility protects both the initiate and the integrity of the teachings, ensuring that sacred knowledge is not misused or misunderstood. Egoism is a major obstacle on the spiritual path. Students and initiates are warned against making false claims or seeking attention for their spiritual achievements. True progress is marked by increasing humility and a willingness to serve, not by public displays or self-promotion. True membership in a spiritual order is not achieved through external rituals or declarations, but through inner transformation and initiation. Only those who have undergone genuine spiritual experiences are considered true members. The focus is always on personal growth and service, not on status or affiliation. Honesty is a non-negotiable requirement for all students and initiates. Admitting one's true status and limitations is a sign of strength, not weakness. The ancient wisdom demands that all who walk the path do so with integrity, defending the honor of their tradition and striving to embody its highest ideals. In summary, the ancient wisdom expects its students to pursue self-mastery, service, humility, and honesty above all else. The path is demanding, requiring years of dedication and inner work, but the rewards are profound. By following these timeless principles, anyone can embark on the journey from ignorance to wisdom, from the mundane to the eternal. The teachings of Manly P. Hall remind us that the true purpose of spiritual study is not personal gain, but the upliftment of all humanity.